Hey, how's it going today? It's a new day. We're taking a look at new opportunities within the UK, and there's a new announcement made very recently at 24th of November, so it's last week, right? About I knew that will happen. If anything, I was interested in more understanding about how Japanese manufacturing companies when it comes to automotive. They had to make some of those moves because all the other players, were Germany, China, US is making a lot of moves. So I knew that will happen in just a matter of time. Otherwise, some of those other companies would lose a lot of market share. So if anything, there's an announcement made when it comes to Nissan, Japanese car manufacturing, which is triples investment in electric vehicles production in the United Kingdom. Let's delve a little bit deeper and try to understand what's happening. Nissan is delivering up to 2 billion of new investment to produce two new electric vehicle models in Sunderland. Let's try to understand for perhaps myself and for people who are interested. I think there's two manufacturing plants, but let's double check before I can confirm that. So there's, I think, within UK currently there's two plants where they're manufacturing vehicles. Some of those companies from Japan, but I'm not entirely sure names. And I think I was looking at Toyota and what they are doing, but I'm not entirely sure how they're working together. Are they collaborating, or perhaps they are more leaning towards independent manufacturing? So it's something I'm myself interested in. Okay, so I think I was looking at Toyota and the way how they producing that. Myself, I'm interested in collaborating, perhaps working together. I have reached out to point of contact which is located within Europe, and perhaps that would be one way how potentially I can reach out to those organizations, and I would have a point of contact to do that. But until then, let's try to understand some of those other opportunities. So we are taking a look at Nissan and full breakdown, right? So let's start with the regional headquarters and let's focus perhaps on some of those areas where and how they are located and how they're basing their manufacturing facilities, right? So they have headquarters in France. But since we're talking about Japanese company, right? So they decided to headquarter themselves in France. Okay, what's happening within UK, if anything? Uh, they have technical center in Cranfield. Okay, so when they're doing research and development, so there's a lot of opportunities there, as well as when it comes to design, they are located within or in London. Nissan Motor Manufacturing UK Ltd, Nissan Design Europe. So they are doing a lot of design and they are located in London as well when it comes to production and manufacturing. I'm only covering UK, perhaps other areas worth taking a look at as well, like France, Spain, and all the other areas, but currently I'm just covering UK, right? So that would be when it comes to manufacturing, that would be Nissan Motor Manufacturing UK Ltd, and they are located in Sunderland, UK. So perhaps just one location, which is great. But I was looking at other ones, so that way perhaps Toyota and all of the other car manufacturing companies from Japan, they might have more plans. But then we're looking at Nissan, they perhaps starting with the one, and from there we might progress into more depending on demand. Car manufacturing giant Nissan to manufacture two new electric vehicle models and expand Northeast electric vehicle hub in Sunderland. Deal is expected to support thousands of jobs and deliver to PM's priority to grow the economic growth, perhaps as well as if we focusing on electric vehicles, perhaps uh, geared towards sustainable, right? And or how that electricity would be produced in the first place. But either way, we have new opportunities there. Comes the SPM or Prime Minister hosts the Global Investment Summit next week, which is expected to deliver billions more investment into United Kingdom. It's kind of great. I have covered already with investment what was has been made by German companies, by Indian companies, Tata, and some of those car manufacturing companies. And now we're taking a look at some of the investment coming from Japan. Some of the US companies are making a lot of investment. Perhaps UK's market perhaps might be too risky and volatile. So we're making a lot of investments in Europe currently. So perhaps in the future we're gonna progress. Perhaps I would say time frame we'll look at, or perhaps 5 years or so, and they might be interested in considering investing in UK as well market. I don't know. So that's my own personal understanding how volatile markets can be within the UK. But perhaps it would be hard to catch up with everything. But either way, when it comes to some of those car giants, I knew that about 3 years ago or so there was a lot of scouting on having facilities in Somerset and where they would consider building some of those plants. But at the time, right, things are changing and things are moving all the time. So perhaps it's not necessarily that anything will come into effect, but hopefully perhaps more investment, more opportunities. There's a lot of engineers in that area, perhaps, and there would be some interesting projects that they can do there. Nissan is delivering up to 2 billion of new investment to produce two new electric vehicles models in Sunderland, helping to put more zero-emission vehicles on UK's roads, which will make travel more sustainable and affordable in the long term. The Prime Minister has announced it today, Friday 24th of November. So it's about 6 days ago, as well as I begin paying more attention at Parliament and some of the discussions they're having in Parliament, and it was been highlighted in Parliament discussions, right, about changes as well as parking of those electric vehicles. So some people charging 600% more for parking of those vehicles. So it's kind of silly discussions they're having over there. Perhaps things should be taken more seriously. If anything, it's the first time myself watching those. It's good that there's discussions happening in the first place. Nissan have said their direct investment of up to 1.12 billion to produce their two models will enable wider investment in infrastructure projects and the supply chain, including new factories, bringing a total new investment for roughly up to £2 billion, right? This builds on the 1 billion electric vehicle hub announcement by Nissan and all their battery partners in 2021. I thought that it might be a partners, it might be a lot cheaper. Perhaps some of those technologies it could be so hard to develop. So it's currently something myself. I'm reaching out to a number of partners and I'm communicating, reaching out, trying to. Someone's leaving work, someone's been hired, someone's new hires. So there's a lot of things happening within the space, and we talking just about one supplier, right? When we're talking about car manufacturing, battery is just one supplier. I'm not even talking about all the perhaps hundreds and hundreds of suppliers, right? And all the things that are happening. But hopefully, people up there taking notice and doing more to improve some of those areas and bring the total investment since 2021 to 3 billion. So that's the total investment. Okay, good. Safeguarding the future of Britain's largest car factory as well as a move away from petrol and diesel cars. Okay, good. Today's announcement doubles down on this with all electric replacements for this. Okay, so there's some of those projects. Let's do not send me a check. Nissan, send me a check. I don't mind covering that in more detail about some of those models and perhaps how many people you have hired and how many people are working for your organization, which is kind of great. I'll skip some of that information. I'll not necessarily feel that's important, if anything. Perhaps opportunities of collaborating and working together is something for myself I'm interested. I'm taking this information from government's website. Perhaps there's a lot of newspapers covering these topics. I'll try to keep it as clean and factual as possible and double check everything from what I would myself be able to find on government's website. I'm not entirely sure how it works, right? Because UK or places like Japan has a steering wheel in the one side, right? So or everything what would be manufactured within UK, the people would need to order from UK, and all the market would need to be fulfilled by manufacturers within UK. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with all those other vehicles that you can purchase within UK. Where are they producing those vehicles? Partly and assembling here. So it's something myself I'm interested in. Perhaps worth covering that in more detail, because how are you assembling those vehicles? Just a quick one, right? So potentially yourself, if it's something that you're interested in, there are so many opportunities. Let's cover this particular opportunity for people who are interested in. If it's something that you yourself might be interested in taking part, that would be. In addition, today we have confirmed 15 million funding has been awarded for a 30 million collaborative projects led by Nissan. So perhaps would be 50% share, I guess, or 50% grant funding. Perhaps half of that would come from the government, perhaps another 50% might come from Nissan in order to develop new projects. It will strengthen the technology expertise and research and development zero emission vehicle capabilities of the Nissan Technical Center. Right. So they do have that center in Bedfordshire, increasing opportunities for security additional to UK research and development and investment in the future vehicle models. I'll try to chart the center to see if they would like to collaborate with. I'm not entirely sure about all the legal requirements. They might be interested only. They might structure those projects differently, right? I haven't read those particular contracts, so every organization is different. But perhaps they might be interested in working together. Since I myself I'm struggling collaborating and working with some of those suppliers coming from UK, so perhaps we all can get together and it might be easier to work or collaborating, right? It comes ahead of the Global Investment Summit next week, where Prime Minister is expected to host over 200 of the world's CEOs and financial, including the CEO of Nissan, Makoto Uchida, to showcase the UK as a world-leading place to invest. Okay, so we're looking to attract more investors who might be interested in investing in UK's market. People out there who are interested in learning more, in particular about your body, I have published a book, Project Fit Flow. Within this book, I'm sharing a lot of information with the people who like to learn more about this hardware that we all have and carrying around with us. And in particular, if you're just starting out, I would highly recommend you focus on 3 different areas. That would be rest periods, as well as nutrition, what you're eating, what food are you putting into your body, as well as placing stress on your body and how you can adapt working against gravity. So that's how very basically process of lifting weights can look like to many people, where you going to the gym and how you can increase slowly over time that process and rinse and repeat that process, and how your body will adapt to that. More and everything what you would need to know, there's a QR code in the corner, as well as company's website below. Just to summarize this video, if anything, let's finish on something perhaps some people might find it exciting. The Business and Trade Secretary is also set to announce the publication of Government's Advanced Manufacturing Plan, something that I'm currently looking at and doing a lot of research to understand. If anything, I know people who I need to talk to, but most of the people within this area is, for whatever reason, of their basis, it's very hard to reach some of those people with but so whatever, the people are busy always. Always busy, they can't respond to phone calls, emails, nothing, right? We'll set up a comprehensive offer for UK's manufacturing sector to continue to boost long-term sustainability and prosperity. So we're looking to perhaps improve some of the systems, which is good. Which is good that they're working on those. The Department for Business and Trade will also shortly publish the UK's first battery strategy. Good, good. They should improve that, if you would ask me. Currently, the way perhaps how many business can large scale manufacturing some of those batteries, so just handful, perhaps 6 businesses, perhaps 10 tops. So perhaps increasing number of those. So so if they're gonna take a look at that kind of issue, where would increase number of businesses who would enter this market to begin with, by perhaps offering incentives for more business to tackle this problem. If they would increase instead of currently, perhaps only 10 or up to 10 businesses who are able to do that, how they will address that so there are more businesses who can enter the market and tackle this problem, then or hopefully they would address this kind of issue, and down the line they would make things perhaps cheaper or better with more businesses tackling this issue, right? Outlining government's activity to achieve a global competitive battery supply chain in UK by 2030 that supports economic prosperity and net zero transition. So hopefully those kind of areas going to be addressed. So there are facilities out there, people out there. So perhaps it's just more businesses entering this market. I personally believe. So they have spent so much on those facilities. So facilities are there. So it's not really a problem, right? Perhaps more people doing those kind of things. So that I personally believe that might be a problem. Perhaps if one facility is not enough, they can build another one. So it's another way how to solve it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.